the magic of the Cybernet Space Cube, the computer-enhanced podcast of the future. Transformers Slag Podcast.
Here we go. How we all doing this Saturday night? It's the Transformers Slag Podcast Center live stream main event. I'm your host, Protoman. I'm the face that runs this place. I'm the voice here Monday to Friday, and it is Saturday. And we have a big convention weekend going on the other side of the globe. It is the Shanghai Wonder Festival, normally an event that used to be exclusively to Japan. Wonder Festival has always been an awesome event. One day I hope to go to one. Every time I seem to be in Japan, I always seem to be off by a week of whatever's the big convention that weekend. But how we all doing? Welcome to the Transformer Slag Podcast. We're going to recap the Transformer news, take some super chats from you guys, update some other of the news. Got some little things here and there that we picked up, and just rock out with the robots in disguise. Who do we got here? We got Cringe McCringle. What's up? Joshua, how you doing? Who else? We got Clyde. What's up? Grab the mouse here. So many people. Clyde, what's up? Oh, Rudy Mack is here too. Fawnheart, how you doing? Patrick Brown, what's up? Ylag Y, Will Murphy, James is here. Ninjatron, the TFcon legend, is here. Young is here from Montreal, one of my Montreal peeps. Who else is here? I got to scroll through everybody. Ylag Y, I think I got. More people are filing in now. Mural Fabrication from SDCC. How you doing? So, we got a lot to cover. Quite a few bit of slides. Usually when we do these news recaps, I'm usually at like 10 slides. This is like more like 15 to like 17 slides because there's a lot to cover. I said this last time when I did my individual segment quickly about it. This was going to be something that was going to be updated on Saturday. I knew for a fact that no matter what I was going to report, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday would not matter to the huge news drop that's going to happen on Saturday. So let's jump into that. What's up, T-Formers? And cover everything. I got 2 bottles of water. I'm already getting a little dry because there's a lot to cover. So let's do it, shall we? Let's start with, of course, outside of the Wonder Festival stuff. Let's start with first the outside stuff. We got our MPG-19 Soundwave with Laserbeak, aka Condor. We got an update now on him that we now know exclusively what he's going to come with and how is he different from the older MP release all those years ago. What's up, Larry? And it looks like you're more or less getting the same stuff except the Megatron gun. And that's a very interesting twist that they're not including the Megatron gun with him this time. The original Japanese release had it no problem. I would understand if this was like an American release and they're kind of like wishy-washy on including the Walter P-38. But his absence here is quite bizarre. And obviously, Takara, they figured, well, if we're not going to include the gun, I guess we'll just include a pink Energon cube instead, which is something a little different than what we got before. We never got a pink Energon cube. We always got like pink cassette holders to kind of represent other stuff. But yeah, otherwise it's pretty much the same thing. Comes with the same stuff: the sensor from Fire of the Sky, the blaster, the shoulder cannon, the tape cassette holders, the clear Energon cube, the different chest readout for his chest. It's probably going to have the cutout inserts for his chest too, which I'm not a fan of. But I mean, you could just color photocopy those if you don't want to destroy your instructions. But otherwise, I mean, more or less the same thing, except just retweaked kind of deco for the Soundwave. I mean, it's just more screen accurate, if anything, because I'm looking over. I have both the American version and the Japanese version of the original, and the really big difference, aside from the hue of blue, is the deco on like his shoulders. The shoulders for the original were more toy accurate. This is much more screen accurate because it didn't have those decos on the Flurodiri design. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But I mean, we will see what happens with this guy. We don't have a price yet, but again, a reminder, and again, it might give a little bit of sticker shock, a reminder, the original Masterpiece Soundwave was in that 175 to 200 USD. So it's something where I'm worried this might be 250. But again, look, it's the inflation world. It's been what, like 9 years since the last one, I think. So we'll see how it pans out. But it does look great. And I'll be honest with you, everyone who's been chasing like their retail sound waves and stuff, and I get it, not everyone is a masterpiece collector, but this really is indeed like the best sound wave figure that you could get from an official capacity. Like it really is. So get it if you can. There's a lot of cool stuff that could be done with it. Check it out. And again, we'll get more info when we get the prices, and the pre-order date apparently is going to be around the same time as some other dates we're going to talk about. But October 8th, 2025 will be when the pre-orders drop. We'll learn the price then, and we'll keep you guys posted here on the Transformer Slag podcast. What's up, Horned Owl and Tom Laney? And Big Bot Bodega, I'll see you at TFcon very soon. We'll talk about that later tonight. That's faux show. Next up, what do we got here? We also have the Transformers Fan Book 2025 that dropped out of the blue and shipped out almost instantly. I have been getting reports from a lot of different Americans that are trying to pick this up. So I looked into it. I talked to my friend Hydra. So if you're trying to pick this up from Amazon Japan and you are an United States of America address, they will not ship out to the United States as of right now. I think it's probably because of the tariff situation, along with Japan Post probably just holding out on shipping out packages and stuff to the United States. So there is a difficulty with purchase. If you try to purchase it from Amazon Japan and you have your address set to United States address, it will not ship out. Because when I originally reported this, it looked fine on my end, but silly me, I forgot my address is set to Canada. I didn't realize that Japan had some kind of weird beef going on. So if you are interested in this, you might have to get an exterior source in order to pick this up. There is a few third-party Japanese buyer websites where you could pick this up. Obviously, you're going to have to pay a fee with a middleman, but there is ways to get this because, it's pretty affordable on its own. 1,980 yen. That's like $14 USD. It gets you a core class figure that's exclusively colored, that looks really good, and a 40-page full color yearbook celebration of 2025 for Transformers. So nice little fun stuff there. So I've always, I've been talking about these fan books for the past 4 years now. Takara Tomy has been putting these out, and they're always cool. They always come with cool little bonuses, and I dig them. I think they're fun. And it's something that I know it's unfortunate right now for a lot of people having difficulty picking it up, but there is other ways, and I'm going to kind of hope that maybe it's still available on Amazon after the silliness and drama dies down. Either that or wait for TFCon Chicago and maybe someone will have it there. I don't know. One way or another. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Then we got this one here. Unfortunately, we didn't get any updates of info on this one in terms of a ship out date, but this is a teaser of the early but blurry, as I always call it, Wave 2 of the Takara Tomy Arts Transformers Miniature Package Collection, which is pretty much just miniature keychains out of a soft ABS plastic mimicking the original Generation 1 boxes in Japan. So this is Wave 2 that we were shown earlier this week. We got Rodimus Convoy, we got Ultra Magnus, we got Metroflex, aka Metroplex, we got Starscream, we got Cyclonus, and we got good old Soundwave as expected. So these are going to be 300 yen each, about $2.10. They're going to be in Gashapon machines all over Japan. We know that Wave 1 is going to be starting to show up in Japan in November. We don't know anything about this Wave 2 yet. So stay tuned for that. Supposedly you could get the full set for like $15 or something through different retailers. I might go about it that route. It'll just make my life easier. And then I'll have a nice Rodimus keychain. That'll be pretty cool. But yeah, so check that out if you are interested in the land of the rising sun. Now then, let's talk about Wonder Festival Shanghai 2025. We got a lot to cover here. For people that are unfamiliar, Wonder Festival has been going on for about, 41 years now. a classic gathering of the otakus. When it first started, it really leaned on model kits, independent customs, garage kits, resin kits. It was a lot of creativity stuff. And then the following years after that, it opened up to more of the anime and manga stuff. There was a lot of doshinjis and original, stories and original self-published stuff. There's a lot of self-publishing in Japan. It's very common there, especially fan self-published fan stuff. So it opened up to that. And then, of course, as anything in life, it became so big and popular that then big companies started to get involved, and now they bring all their goods to show off. And Takara Tomy was there, as well as a lot of the model kit licensors, and they had a whole bunch of brand new stuff on display. In terms of Takara Tomy official stuff, like in terms of action figures, nothing we haven't already seen. Better photos of Missing Link Ultra Magnus, the Ginrai MPG. Nothing really too new on that end, but the model kit stuff, a lot of stuff to talk about. And a nice little photo there of RC to get things started. Gotta love it. So we have this Shattered Glass Flame Toys model kit, Optimus Prime, based off of, and what I love about this, it's based off of the Classics design. That's a design that a lot of people haven't seen in many years. And so it's nice to see that back in some shape or form, with that kibble on the arms and stuff, and the more angular chest that the Classics version from 2006 has. What's up, David Cabal? And yeah, I dig that one. And we got much more, because then we also have some prototypes that they had on display. We got an IDW looking Diatlas that's coming. This one's a deep cut. BotCon 2013 custom class Shattered Glass long arm. What? Who at? And I mean, because you have to understand, this isn't like, oh, we're going to repaint it from something. No, man, this is like, wow, okay, that's a super deep cut. This was the custom class exclusive long arm. It was pretty much, they took the Universe 2.0 Hunt for the Decepticons Agent Meister, aka Jazz, and they put a Shockwave head on it in purple, and that was the custom class for BotCon 2013, doing an homage to Long Arm Prime, aka Long Arm from Animated. It's kind of that, Derek Wyatt was part of that custom class, cool little fun stuff back in the day. And they're doing a model kit of it all these years later. Then again, when you think about it, the custom class kind of was a model kit panel. So, yeah, I guess it kind of works out in the end. So very, very cool. Very, very cool. Very deep, deep cut. I give them credit for that one. They're probably going to take this mold and put a Jazz head on it afterwards. So either way, I dig it. Looks nice. I mean, Flame Toys they're just knocking it out of the park. And we're not even done yet with Flame Toy stuff, because we also have here their Big Convoy and their Black Arachnia. Now, their Black Arachnia is kind of a fusion of the Beast Wars version and the animated version, because the front end of it, like the way that the breasts are done, the way that the head sculpt is done, the body, that's clearly like, Black Arachnia from Beast Wars. But then you look at her spider legs in the back, and that's clearly how they were like shaped and designed and silhouetted for Transformers Animated, the way Derek Wyatt did it. So very interesting fusion of the two. But again, all the female Flame Toys always sell ridiculously well. I can't imagine why, giggity. But so I imagine this one's going to knock it out of the park too. It's our first Beast Wars Bella. So I'm sure she'll do just as well, and she'll get a pre-order from me for sure. Looking good as she should. And a Big Convoy, probably one of the best Beast Wars toys ever made from the original era. I mean, if you could get your hands on a Big Convoy mold anyway of that original mold, it'd blow your mind what we got back in the day in 1999. It was quite incredible. I wonder if he comes with a Matrix of Leadership. He probably does, but that'd be pretty cool. What did you write here? T-Formers, props to them for doing Shockwave first instead of Jazz. Yeah, man, it's a weird deep cut. That's a weird deep cut. Again, here's the reality with that, especially like let's just go back for a second here. You have to understand something, like that BotCon exclusive, the custom class only had 50 made. So only 50 people own the custom class Long Arm Prime. So it's like, it's not even like something where it's like, oh, everyone who went to BotCon, there was like 3,000 of them. So there's 3,000 fans that have like a nostalgia for that. No, man. Like there's like 50 people that were lucky to get that on the Thursday because they were able to get into the custom class, and that was it. And then how many of those people are even part of the fandom today and can make that connection? It's wild when you think about it, how much of a deep cut that is. But hey, props to them. You know what? I've said this in the past. Sometimes you want to do the obscure, like if you have a mold and you go, okay, this could be jazz, which it should obviously be jazz, or this could be something weird. Sometimes they want to do the weird thing first because people will buy it because it's a new tooling and go, oh my God. And then they'll buy it for the more obvious tooling because that'll be the better seller. And then you make two sales. Where if you did it reversed, let's say the jazz came first, people would buy it. And then if they did the shockwave afterwards, people would be like, I already got the jazz and I'm happy. And it's kind of weird as shockwave. So nice little tactic there. Nice little tactic there. Then we got some colored stuff here too. Some colored, reveals. We got the King Starscream. That one looks epic as hell. My goodness. That looks really good. We got the Galvalio Convoy, another one too. The capes, looking good with capes, man. Looking good with capes. We got Ultra Magnus. We got Bludgeon. We got an IDW Cyclonus with some swords that are kind of spoilery, which I won't get into. But man, oh man, looking good. Looking good. There is a lot of great stuff coming out of Flame Toys. They blow my mind every time with everything they do. And the only thing that's sad about it is it's one of those purchases that I have to buy it and then I got to allocate time to sit down and build it. And me, like, I don't just build a kit raw straight up. I want to like panel line it. I want to like sand it down. I want to do it proper. And that's like a 6 to 7 hour job, that I do over intervals of maybe 2 hours a day. And sometimes I just don't got that time. Like when I got the Windblade, I think I sat on that sealed in box for like, gosh, I want to say 6 months just because I just didn't have the time. So it's something where, I mean, that bludgeon looks really good. That bludgeon looks really good. But yeah, man, stuff looks great. Looking forward to it all. Let me know what you think about all these. Who would you like to see next? Who would you like to see next? Because it looks like they're doing anything. Now we got a Shatterglass Long Arm Prime. Anything's possible. So I want Nitro Convoy. I want Master Force Road King. I want, let's turn my head and look at some of my obscure people. Well, if you're doing the sexy ladies, we got to get Transformers Galaxy Force Chromia, aka Thunderblast from Cybertron. So we need a few more of the sexy lady bots. What else do we got? What do we got? We need some more. We need more Beast Wars people, of course. Maybe do an Air Razor. Do manga Air Razor. Look how Air Razor looked in the manga. Be nice to get a figure of her done proper. But a lot of good stuff there. A lot of good stuff. Yeah, there was a Bonsai Tron too, Ninja. I just put what I could right now. I have failed you, Ninja Sensei. I failed you. What else do we got? We got YOLO Park. All of their stuff here too. A lot of movie stuff they're leaning on. And then that one Bumblebee there. So you got Optimus, you got Jazz, you got Ironhide, you got Dark of the Moon Megatron, you got Blackout, you got Dark of the Moon Sentinel Prime, you got Rise of the Beasts RC there, and you got AG1 a Bumblebee. This is part of their AMK Pro line. Really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. I have a few of their things. I actually got my very first one through Aaron Archer, of all people. He hooked me up with one kit that he got from BotCon. And I was like, oh, these aren't too bad. These are like much more, I guess, higher budget, fancy blockies, I guess, for lack of better words. Like if blockies like really painted the hell out of their stuff and gave it a little more heft. They are more expensive, but I mean, they're fun. I dig them. I think they're cool. I'm curious about the RC one because we didn't really get a proper looking RC figure from Rise of the Beast. And if these are the same scale as their other AMK Pro stuff, I'm curious how tall the RC is going to be and how she'll scale in my Rise of the Beast display. So kind of curious because again, I'm not feeling everything that they did of her, even from a Studio Series standpoint, especially now that the core class is gone. I mean, geez, they should have just done something else. But yeah, very cool. That's YOLO Park stuff. Then we got Way Studio, and they have their Convoy collection. A whole bunch of different Optimuses and Convoys throughout the years, Shattered Glass. We got some Skybound going on. We got some G1. We got some Prime. We got some Transformers Go. That's I don't want to say that's a deep cut, but that's definitely a unique take, to say the least, and many others. But very, very cool that they're doing this too. Just kind of celebrating Optimus throughout the years. A lot of really good stuff here. But I mean, the model kit stuff is looking absolutely fantastic. And I agree with Cringe here. Like RIP my wallet, because I really got to pick and choose what I'm going to get from this. Because I mean, that out of like even this Optimus one here, that Transformers Go one looks really nice. I like that. That's a cool kind of design. They're going to the Beast Hunters era of Transformers and stuff from Prime. So very, very cool. Very nice. I always like the stuff that's a little unique, a little different than what we're normally used to. And then let's talk about Blockies. So Blockies had their Tarn on display, their Transformers Prime dudes on display, their movie stuff. They had a whole bunch of different things, but the big reveal was their brand new Blockies Transformers Wheels line. So they're also doing stuff that's much more, and I mean, we've kind of already seen this in a micro form through their Blockies Defenders, where we got like just alt mode model kits of their blind box stuff through the Defenders. But now they're doing something that's, a little more of that larger model kit situation on sprues, where we're getting the Blockies Wheels collection for Transformers. These are clearly based off of IDW designs. I mean, unless you could argue in the case of the Hound, but the others are clearly based off of IDW designs. But I am very curious how well this will do, and if they'll open it up to some more of the iconic characters. Obviously, they probably can't go hard into G1, because then you're talking car licenses and stuff like that. So if you do the IDW designs, it's a little more, fast and loose with some of those. Even with the Jeep, in the case of Ironhide, that's a Jeep Willie from the 70s. I mean, you can kind of get away with a generic Jeep in a lot of ways, even though that is a company itself. But yeah, man, very cool, those ones. I dig it. A lot of cool stuff out of Wonder Festival. Oddly enough, there wasn't any, and Wonder Festival is known for this a lot, but it's probably more just the Japanese side of things. There was no like 1 day exclusive. What they used to do in the past was they would do like a 1 day licensed exclusive. It could be a model kit, it could be a vinyl figure or something. But I think that's mostly just for the Japanese side of things. I'm not too familiar with what they do with Shanghai for these Wonder Festivals. So still very cool though. Next up, we got some reveals that we got from the early Walmart Collector Con stuff that's going to drop next Thursday. We have the Transformers Retro Deluxe Wheelie that was shown to us, a brand new tooling. Probably should, one moment. Let me grab my Masterpiece Wheelie. One second. I probably should have busted that out to talk about. So, knocked over Mirage. Oh well. Trying to grab Wheelie here in my display. But yeah, so the thing is that like for the longest time, this was like my go-to Wheelie. This was Metal Force. It was a third-party company back in the day. Uh, it was kind of like my Masterpiece Wheelie. And what I loved about this one that was very clever is that you were actually able to do toy mode Wheelie with it, where you could kind of like put the head down there and then, oh, hey, now it's toy Wheelie, you know, pretty much. And I was kind of surprised the decision that they went with this to do a head sculpt that invokes that of the toy. Because if you look at the brim, one second, let me zoom in on this so I could kind of show you. But if you look at the brim, it even has, if you look at the top of the brim there, these two little pieces that are in the center, that's to represent the hinge that the original toy had for when you opened up the cockpit. So like kind of like this. Let me show you guys. Although this one doesn't have that hinge, and I'd have to go grab the original over there. But there was like a little hinge piece for the original toy. So they even like maintained that little hinge piece, even though it's not going to factor in there. But this is very clear that this head sculpt's going to be unique to just this version. I speculated, maybe they'll do Dion afterwards and get some mileage out of that mold. But at the end of the day, this is a brand new tooling, but it won't be your definitive Wheelie. I do feel that they will do probably something way better later on that's much more screen accurate in terms of coloring and a better head sculpt. Sorry, I was trying to move that all around. So if you do want a good wheelie, either you get this guy that I don't even know. I got this thing like 15 years ago, so I don't know what he goes for now. But you either get this guy here who looks fantastic, or you wait for whatever Hasbro is going to put out. And this one didn't come with a bow and arrow, a slingshot, so you could clearly get some more mileage out of this one maybe if you wait a little bit. We'll see. I feel like a lot of these retro reissues, I find that they seem to always go on sale. So it's something that, to me, if you wait a little bit, maybe this will go on sale, and you could pick him up then. Because I feel he might be, even though he's the unique tooling, in my opinion, he's the weaker of the two. In my opinion, kind of like what happened with the Brawn versus the Sea Spray. Even though I like the Brawn more, the Sea Spray clearly is the one that's selling better. So I think that in this pair, the wheelie might be the short packed one, in my opinion. But not this guy. I love him. Transformers Retro Deluxe Outback. This guy is definitely a one and done. Don't expect like some kind of like retail version later, unless 3 years from now Hasbro just like reissues him straight up into like some modern packaging, because he's clearly sporting his show design. This isn't a toy Outback. The visor is painted in. They didn't put the sticker deco on his crotch region, which the original toy had. So it's something that they clearly just went. And granted, to be fair, I mean, the difference between his toy and his animation model is little silly things here and there. Where the wheelie, there's a clear difference between the two. Rudy Mack toy wheelie is one of my favorite abominations. Well, he's definitely unique. And let's go grab also from the archives here. The story of Wheelie, the wild boy of Quintessa, drawn by oddly, screenplay by Ron Friedman. So credit to Ron, who also worked on this stuff, all the amazing Transformer stuff throughout all the years. But Earl Norham, who did amazing watercolor art for Transformers throughout the years. He did a whole bunch of great ones. There was a great one that he did with the Insecticons, but this iconic piece right here that a lot of people have. I think Aaron Archer says he owns some of these, but that's what the G2 Grimlock kind of comes with right now, but maybe we'll get that one too. Who knows? What's also funny about this, and we have never gotten that repaint, the flesh-colored RC with Hot Rod. Flesh-colored hands, flesh-colored face, the forearm. It's like it might as well be a woman with like an armor. I think there's another shot of that. Let me see. There we go. Always found that kind of funny. But yeah, really cool stuff. So yeah. But Outback is where it's at, yo. Outback is where it's at. I'm digging it. Wild Boy Wheelie is wild indeed, Rudy Mack. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, so these guys are going to be $24.97. Excuse me, $24.87 on Walmart's website this Thursday for Walmart Collector Con, which I might as well pull up that slide too. Let's pull that one up. So on Walmart Collector Con, October 9th, 2025, these two will be dropping, as well as a whole bunch of other Walmart Collector Con items. There's a Reptile 2-pack that I'm kind of looking at from the Mortal Kombat stuff that looks pretty yummy. So that's pretty cool. So check that out. And then, of course, the following next couple of days after that Walmart Collector Con will be, of course, the New York Comic Con, which probably these will be in person in the glass display at the Hasbro booth. There'll be a whole bunch of other stuff. We'll have the Nemesis Prime Armada exclusive and everything. We're going to have the panel on the Friday on October 10th, which is going to have even more reveals from Hasbro. So this weekend coming up, not this week now, but the weekend coming up is going to be quite a few things to talk about and some exciting stuff. So stay tuned for that on the Transformer Slag podcast. And also a reminder from Hasbro, be sure to get in your vote for the Hall of Fame because the voting ends tomorrow. So if you have not done your voting, just throw it in your Google machine, Transformers Hall of Fame fan vote, and vote for your favorite Transformers across 3 categories, because voting will be closing very, very soon. So check that out, yo, also. And last but not least, these guys. So these were found locally here in Montreal by Pulse Dragon, and it's the Zuru Gummy Yum Surprise, pretty much like, I don't know, some kind of version of Kinder Surprise, I guess, that comes with some Transformers. So while I was at Walmart today, I picked one up. Just only one, though. These were $1.98 Canadian, so probably like $1.50 or maybe even $1.10 American in your local Walmart. I don't know who I got. Pulse Dragon, when he saw these, he thought that they might have codes. And so he bought them based on the codes, and he cracked his open, and no, there is no codes. He ended up with a whole bunch of Wheeljacks and Megatrons. So if you are interested in Wheeljacks or Megatrons at the next TFcon Toronto, he'll bring them, and you could buy them off of him. But yeah, so I got one. I am probably well, let's crack it open, see who we get. I've never met. Ooh, this is like some weird thing going on here. What is this? Oh wow, that's how it works. It's like an egg that's covered in gummies. Oh, do I have to eat this to get to it? Oh no. Oh God. Okay, so like it's like a rainbowy kind of. So I'll take the orange piece here. Is there a way to open this with? Oh my God, there's no way you could open it without eating it. Great. This red dye 40 garbage. Yeah, it is what it is. Uh-uh-uh. Our girlfriend bought some of these. Oh, did she? Well, tell me, how the hell do you open this thing without? Oh my God! I just want to get the toy. I want to. I don't want to play with my food. Oh my God! How do you? There we go. There we go. Who did I get? Oh, geez. So I got. I'll put this back in the package here. I got one of the less exciting ones. Yay! Let me put all this together here, ladies and gentlemen. May I present to you the Truck Optimus. Yay! I didn't even get one of the robots. So this is who you could get. Oh, there was a gun in there too. I missed the gun. I guess it's still back in the packaging there. Either way. So yeah, as you could get robot mode Optimus, truck mode Optimus, robot mode Megatron, tank mode Megatron, robot mode Wheeljack, car mode Wheeljack. You get a Bumblebee, a car Bumblebee, and you could get a Gold Chase Clear Edition Bumblebee. And yeah, I got this guy here. Yay. Oh well. It is what it is. So your girlfriend also got the Optimus. Maybe it's rigged. Cringe. Maybe it's rigged. This stuff is disgusting though. Ugh. I don't know. Yeah. Gonna put that over there. Maybe she'll want it. I'm not a big fan of that kind of sugary crap. Yeah, it could be gold bug. I mean, it's labeled on their website. I checked Zuru's website. They just call it the Chase Bumblebee. That's in clear. Could be a gold bug, Scott. But yeah, it is what it is. So these are available right now at Walmart. Check your impulse aisle. It's in the impulse aisle where all the other processed snack goodies are and everything. Mine was next to where you would see the Kinder eggs and the Kinder Surprise stuff and all of that, the egg stuff. So if you are interested, if you want to get some niche Wheeljack action on with blue spoiler, because that's what's kind of going on there, go check that out. Yeah. Very weird. And that's it more or less. We did get some stuff. We'll talk about that in a moment. And then we'll take some super chats from the fans here today. We went here in the Transformer Slag Podcast HQ. We went to Ottawa temporarily just for like a little show, and then we came back, and then we went to Huxbury, which we realized there's not much going on there. They have like one comic store and that's it. So we just kind of just did a little day trip and stuff, and didn't really find much. But actually, we bought this oddly enough while we were out there. But what we did find when we came back was there was some sales going on. If you are a Canadian, winners right now. Let me just bust these out. If you're part of the Transformer Slag podcast Patreon, wink, wink, join the Patreon. You would have known about these already because we talked about them last week, and I finally went out and got some for myself. Core classes are showing up on the uber cheap at Winners in Canada, $7.99, which is about $5 USD. So I didn't have Cheetor and the Galvatron. I got the Megatron one. I never got the Galvatron. I never got the Boulder Crash. So these guys, along with the Megatron, I saw at Winners. So if you're a Canadian, go check out your local Winners. A bunch of these are there on the super cheap. So check that out. And they also had Transformers Earthspark stuff, a bunch of it on mega clearance too. The kids with the armors there that like combine and stuff, I didn't pick those up because, man, those I'm going to wait until they're going to be like loose for like $2 at some point. I'm going to see those guys. So I'm just going to wait on those because I think they were still asking like $15. But yeah, check those out. Check those out too. Check your local Winners, Marshalls. I think there's another name for it in the States too. They're popping off. And Ross, we posted on our Discord. Ross has Triptychon for $90, the new one that has the slightly more screen accurate color scheme. So check that one out too. Again, if you join the Patreon, we let you know about the sales usually a week to 2 weeks in advance before the scalpers get it and buy everything. Oscar, what's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the party. You're never too late. You're just fashionably early. Fashionably early. So let's do some sponsorship while we're here. Got to represent Symbiote Studios, the plush pins and t-shirts. The Starscream from their plushes have sold out currently. They are working on restocking right now. They didn't expect a huge influx of Starscream purchases out of nowhere. So Starscream will be restocked on the website. Stay tuned for that if you are interested in getting the Starscream plush. The pillows are still on sale right now if you want to fill out your living room or your bedroom with some Optimus Prime, your Autobot or Decepticon pillows, and more to come of the plush legacy. Of course, the Commander Convoy, Optimus Prime, the Scheming Starscream, the Brave Bumblebee, and the large scales. Those will be coming soon. These are not the final versions. These are just the prototypes right now of the oversized ones that will be debuting around the time of TFcon March, which will be the LA show, not the Chicago show. Same thing with the Swoop from the Dinobot set. Swoop will not be available at TFcon Chicago, but by the time of TFcon LA in March, you will be able to purchase it in person at the show. Symbiote Studios will have a booth there, and I might be joining them. So we will see what's happening with that one. And of course, all the other stuff, their crazy My Little Pony collection, their video game collection of stuff of pins and everything of different indie brands, and then some. Then we got the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. Again, big warning, people. We are literally a couple weeks away from TFCon Chicago. And what that means is everything you see here, while it's still on the store currently, it will be brought to TFCon Chicago afterwards. And once it's at TFCon Chicago, it's probably not going to come back. It's probably going to get purchased. So if there is something you are interested in terms of the one-of-one Posca painting instructions, I heavily suggest you buy them now because they will be purchased at TFCon by people. The impulse purchases I see all the time at the show from Aaron's booth is quite common. So some of these are not going to make it out alive. Let's put it that way. I'm banking on the Chromia Thunderblast and that Sideways for sure are definitely not going to be making it back. But again, archermonster.com/shop. If you are interested, pick it up before someone else does at the show. Check it out, yo. And of course, Aaron has right now a special that if you do buy anything before TFCon, you will also get a free black and white head sketch of any character of your choice on a 2x3 card. So on top of getting something that you probably will miss out on if you don't go to TFCon, you also get a little extra bonus here. Since you won't be able to make it to TFCon, you'll get a little free sketch today of anything you want with purchase of something from the store. Again, archermonster.com/shop. Go check it out, yo. Go check it out. And you'll see me and Aaron at TFCon Chicago in just a few weeks. Stay tuned for that. And what will I have at my table with Aaron? Well, going to have these guys. We have a few left of these. This is the final run of them because we always try to hit all 3 shows every year when we do an exclusive. We already did the TFCon West Coast with this guy. We did the Toronto show, and now this is going to be the TFCon East Coast with this guy, the Ratbee, a Bumblebee transforming Game Boy game of a certain Pokemon brand. So check that out. We're going to have a limited run of these of 50 for Chicago. We're going to try to see if we have any other stuff there. And also, we're going to try to bring in limited numbers, because comic books are heavy, a few copies of the various covers of my comic of Mega Man timelines. Just pretty much the first 4 covers from the top left. Cover A, Cover B, Cover C, and Cover D will be available for purchase in very limited numbers at our table, if you are interested too, because there is some people that do not have a local comic book store in their area. I feel for you. Sometimes that's just the case. So I will be bringing some copies for people who cannot get them. Check it out at TFCon Chicago, and be sure to swing by Aaron's booth and buy some amazing art. Get an autograph, talk Transformers, let us know how much you love Transformers Armada, and make Aaron embarrassed. That's always how it is. We'll do a panel. We're going to have a lot of fun at TFCon Chicago. We always do. Chicago is always a very packed show, so I'm sure we're going to have a great old time. Stay tuned for that. Horned Owl, looking forward to TFCon Chicago. See you there. We'll see you too. Horned Owl. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I like Chicago. I like the Chicago location. The very first TFCon USA was in Chicago, and good times. Good times. It was in a basement. We were running that show the exact same time with a Supernaturals convention. It was in the same hotel. So it was very weird. There was like 2 different groups of cosplay, 2 different groups of people, and they got the big room and we got the small room in the basement. But now the roles have reversed, haven't it? So very, very cool. And then, of course, also just a reminder, the Mega Man Legends Transformers the movie cover will be debuting in your local comic book stores at the end of this month. So if you are interested in this incentive Mega Man cover, I suggest you talk to your local comic book store and try to reserve this 1 of 5 copy. And what that is that they have to sell 5 copies of Mega Man Legends when they do their orders to get 1 copy of this. So ask your local comic book store if they have it. Otherwise, I hate to say it, the secondary market on these is kind of always silly. You'll probably see this for like 15 to 20 to 25 bucks for this guy. So it is what it is, unfortunately. So stay tuned for that. Check it out, yo. Check it out. And that's it, more or less, for the news, for the sponsors, for the stuff that's happening, and then some. But yeah. And again, I heavily suggest with that wheelie, maybe wait it out. Patrick Brown, bro, don't sell them short. Supernaturals conventions are big. Went to one 2 years ago. Huge venue, huge. Well, I will admit there was very passionate people there. I think I've told this story before. When we drove down, this was 2014 or 15. I think it was 14. Yeah, it was TFCon 2014. USA was our very first USA show. And I remember we drove down, me and Jaws D, and I remember when we got into the hotel, we went and we checked in and we noticed all of this like Supernaturals cosplay. Of course, we didn't know what it was at the time. We just saw like girls wearing anything but that looked like Transformers. And we legitimately thought we were at the wrong hotel. Like we legit was like, oh my God, did I go to the wrong hotel? And at the time too, I didn't have a smartphone that had data. You have to understand this was like 2013, 14-ish. And it's a Canadian that's on American soil. So the data plans. So I was like, I couldn't even like open up my phone to double check. I just had the address that I had. And why would it be wrong for staff in the website? So it was what it was. And then we realized only afterwards, no, there's just two shows running. And they had like the big room and we had the small room. And then the following year, we had the big room and they had the small room. So the following year, we got the bigger room. That was the year that we had Rhinox and stuff. That was a good year too. But yeah, definitely passionate fans. But it was a funny mix. It's funny having both of them. That was a cool hotel. It's a shame we don't go back to that one anymore. We outgrew the space. We needed a bigger hotel, but it was a fun hotel. It was one of those hotels where like all the rooms you could see them because it's like I don't know. It's hard to describe it, but it was like a spiral. Like it's hard to explain. Almost like a motel situation, but it's indoors. I don't know how to explain it. It was really fun though. James got the retro sea spray today. Bigger than I thought would be, but still cool figure. Let me grab mine. Show you here. Here's how it is next to the wheelie, the metal one. So this wheelie's a little big, but when you think about it, it might be the same. Actually, you know what? This guy here is supposed to be 5 inches. Let me straighten him out. So if he's 5 inches and the wheelie's supposed to be 4.5, so the wheelie's going to be like maybe this tall in comparison. So they did make him shorter. Not this one, the retro one. But I dig this one. I think it's cool. I think it's cool. Again, shout out to Nate from Hasbro's marketing team for this. This literally was the one that was in the San Diego Comic-Con display. Just when the show was done, he was just like, "It's like, do you want it?" I'm like, "Okay." I mean, he didn't have the gun; he lost it, but whatever. It was a good price, yeah. So I can't complain with that. Uh, Patrick Brown, yeah, my wife adores Jensen Atkins. I have no idea who that is, and Jared P. Don't know who that is. We dropped some money on photo ops. I guess those are actors from it. Jensen Atkins. Why does that sound familiar? Was he in something else outside of Supernaturals, I guess? Why does that sound familiar? She probably knows. Sounds like it's a girl thing. So T-Formers 2002. I do kind of like the look of the toy Louie, but definitely wait for sale. Yeah, well, especially because just the first wave, the Gears and the Bumblebee, that went on clearance at Walmart. And I'm telling you, I go to my Walmart every single week and I'm just seeing a full peg of bronze. And I think like personally me, and it's a biased, I like the Brawn more than the Sea Spray, just because I really like Brawn. I've always had a affinity for that character. So like I haven't even bought the Brawn yet because I'm just like that's gonna go on sale. That is so gonna go on sale. He was Batman. Batman in what? One of the animated ones? He was in Smallville. I'm bad with actors, I guess. Can't beat free. That's the truth. That's the truth. Well, the Hasbro guys are always good to me. They're always good dudes to me. Again, shout out to Nate, shout out to Evan, shout out to Mark, shout out to the whole crew, really. They're all a bunch of good guys, man. Every year at San Diego, they always hook me up with a bunch of stuff. We always hang out and talk the business. They're always good dudes. They're always really good dudes. And Nate always is like, "Hey, we should like do something on your channel." And I'm always like, "Yeah, sure." And then I never do anything because I'm always too busy. The problem with my podcast, and you guys probably see it sometimes when I post my segments, I'm at the will of having a normal 9 to 5 and a family and busy and everything like that. I have to slot it in. So it's something where I would feel bad telling the Hasbro guys, "Hey, are you free at like 9 p.m. at night on like a Thursday?" Like, I don't want to do that to them. It's better to do it during their work hours and stuff. And It's fine. We got that low quality, terrible San Diego hangout video. We'll try to do something better next year, for sure, for sure, for sure. Patrick Brown, no, not really. He was the new movie with Alec Baldwin. That movie was Alex shot and killed, the producer for. Oh, okay, I didn't know about that. Here's the thing. I'm not a big movie guy. Like I just watch whatever. I don't waste my money on really going to see movies in theaters unless it's something and that's something like that's been with me my whole life. Like ever since I was a kid, it's like it had to be a movie I really, really, really wanted to see. It was very rare that I would like just see a movie willy-nilly. Like I would just like go out and go, "Hey, let's watch a movie." Like so many people I know, it's like they would just especially as a kid, they would just like, "Hey, we're going to the movies on Friday." They don't even have a plan. They're just going to like catch something. Where me, I was the rental kid. I had at a very young age, I worked at a video rental store. I lived across from one, so that's how I got that job. And we were rental people. The VHS days, we would every Friday, a video game and a movie. I have a lot of nostalgia for that, going all the way back to the Nintendo and Super Nintendo days. And he had an arcade and stuff. So we were more the rental people. But if I was going to rent a movie, it was always going to be Transformers the movie or some kind of cartoon or Ninja Turtle VHSs of the movies and stuff. Or around that time, the really hot Stallone movie was Demolition Man. So good stuff. What's up, David? How you doing? Here, you want some swatch? Here. Ugh. Got this from Michael Koo a while back. Nice little Ultra 7 there. Uh, where are we at? Where are we at? James Hopkins, I see all the Walmarts around are full pegs full of Sideways and Excellions. Mine has tons of Sideways, tons of Excellions, tons of Solus Primes. I'm waiting for Solus Prime to go on sale. Tons of Solus Primes. Who else is like Red Alerts? That's like the one Voyager that seems to be like hanging around. I'm starting to see what's the other one that I was seeing a lot of? The big Scorponok from Cyberworld. I'm seeing a bunch of those. I think that thing is cool as hell, but I think that thing's like $89.99 here in Canada, and I ain't paying $89.99 for that. No way. No way. So I will wait. I will wait. Yeah, damn 9 to 5. I'm a sucker, eh? One day. One day. One day I'll retire early and then I'll do this full time for you guys. One thing I will promise you, mark my words. I see this a lot. A lot of my fellow content creators, um, they've been, and a lot of those content creators, they do this full time. They do this 100% full time. They don't have another job, right? And there a lot of content creators I've been seeing say like, "Oh, my numbers are down, my views are down, everything." I will say this: you guys are amazing because my numbers have not gone up or down. They have stayed consistent all this time. And I guess maybe because I constantly am posting all week and maybe that keeps the numbers up and you guys always tune in. But you guys are amazing because my numbers weren't affected by whatever's going on with YouTube that some of my much more bigger contemporaries have been, I don't want to say complaining because it comes off as negative, but definitely been criticizing about. There's been a lot of content creators have been saying that their numbers are down and stuff. I haven't seen it personally, but maybe I just have a really good audience that subscribes, and when a video pops up, they watch it. I don't know. Whatever it is you guys like about me, I'm glad you like it. Patrick Brown, I celebrate 10 years in my career industry job soon. Only 20 more years, hopefully no more than that. Geez, how long have I been a car mechanic? I started in 2008. So I'm not there yet, but I'm coming up on 20 years soon. My goodness. It's funny because like I was going to start in like late 2007 as a car mechanic, but then the Burger King that I was working at got the movie toys for Transformers. And I was like, I'm going to stay a little longer just to get those figures. And so I got like, still to this day, I have tons of them, tons of those movie figures from Burger King. Still have tons of them. And then after I quit and I started becoming a car mechanic, I had friends that still worked at that Burger King. And when they got Revenge of the Fallen and Dark of the Moon toys, I would be like, yo, could you hook me up? Could you hook me up with some Dark of the Moon? Get me that Fallen that turns into a Decepticon emblem based off of the comic book IDW. Yeah, it is what it is. Uh, but yeah, where are we at here? You can't wait to retire. Well, my goal, I mean, my goal honestly is I want to retire by like 60. Like I don't want to retire by 65 or like 67, which they're trying to push now. I want to retire by 60, 55, 60. I've been saving, investing, putting aside, just trying to be smart with my money. It's one of those things where, if you buy every transformer that comes out, you will never have a dime. Let's put it that way. Because when I was working at BK, I was able to pull that off, because transformer prices were much cheaper. And, when you had a $500 paycheck every 2 weeks and you still lived with your parents, aka you don't have any financial woes to worry about or bills to pay, you were able to be much more irresponsible. No longer the case. Let's put it that way. Transformer toys are way more expensive now, outpaced inflation by almost double, which is kind of crazy. And on top of that, now I have expenses and I have other, stuff I have to take care of. So now, like once in a while, I'll buy like, oh hey, this like I mean, the reality is core classes in Canada after taxes come to like almost like 14, 15, $16 to get them for like $8, like pretty much 50% off. That's when I'm going to engage, you know. And I don't live in a world of FOMO. It's very rare that we end up in a situation where most Transformer toys become tough to get. Remember how everyone was killing each other about like Cosmos and people were paying like $125 for Deluxe Cosmos, and then look what happened. First they did full case assortment reissues and now they're just reissuing them upright, you know? So it's something where people need to, they have to relax a little bit. They have to relax a little bit. Never worry about that kind of stuff. T-Formers 2000, my BK 2007 set is the one of the things I would just kept in the display box. Was pretty thrilled to get them all at once. Oh, you got it that way. You got the display box. We didn't really have, we had like a display box thing, but it wasn't like fancy. We would just like, we had like double-sided tape and we would just put the figures in it. We didn't really get cool stuff. Like I have a lot of the advertisement stuff, the posters that we would put in the drive-through and everything. Trust me, it's not impressive because they're all in French. So unless you want to see Optimus Prime, Uh, but yeah, it's something where, to me, it's always better just wait it out, wait that stuff out, and never always like don't rush too many times. Way too many times I find people they they spend insane amount of money, especially on the secondary market on new product. I mean, look what all the reissues we got recently. I did a Transformer Finance segment, I think 2 weeks ago, and I was just showing how, like, hey, here's Ramjet. He's being reissued right now at Target. Look what people were paying just 1 week ago before this was news. And it was insane. They were paying 3-4 times that. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, everything comes around, it's very rare. Like, it's very rare that stuff from like the older era goes for crazy money unless it's like so far away. But like people don't care about Universe 2.0 Ironhide anymore or the Ratchet. The Ratchet, my goodness, that Ratchet was going for crazy money at one point. But now people don't care. Now they want like, the Voyager Studio Series Ratchet. They want other versions, so many of those. And especially when it comes to like, like, look, Boulder, I like Boulder Crash. That's, I'm a GoBots guy. I love the Rock Lords and stuff like that. And it also has a little bit of that Inhumanoids kind of thing going on. But at the same time, no one's killing themselves over this. What's going to be the secondary market on this guy? No joke. In, 5, 10 years, I doubt much. Rudy Mack with the $5 super chat. Thank you, Rudy Mack. Thank you. Thank you. That's another reason why I've always appreciated Proto. You've always been extremely helpful with Transformers Finance. Well, it's because I've been accused of this many times by TFcon staff members. I've been called cheap many times because I'm always willing to wait. But I've also, here's the thing, I've been collecting toys, not just Transformers, but I've been collecting toys my whole life. And I've been lucky because not only I've been collecting toys my whole life, but I've been going to conventions my whole life. Like my first convention I ever went to, I was 7 years old. I went with my father and my next door neighbor to the Montreal, they called it a Comic Con, but Montreal Comic Expo run by Elwin. Shout out to you, Elwin. You were a legend back then. The very first Comic Con, it was like in a hotel, room, very simple thing. A hotel, like, whatever you want to call it, the guest rooms and stuff. And it was a very small little show, and then it grew and it grew. And I went to those shows and I saw, oh, old toys. Old toys, they ain't asking that much. And new toys, people are asking a lot. I used to always say to myself, because I saw what my father, through his hobby, old toys worth money. New toys, even out, like new Hot Wheels as opposed to old dinky Corgi and Matchbox. But I noticed in my toy hobby, like, oh wow, how come, like, and this is going to date me here, how come like the Toy Biz X-Men from like 1992, 93, those are $10, but like the vintage Superpowers and He-Mans and Transformers were like $5. And of course, it was a different time. People didn't really have that collecting mentality. But even at a young age, I saw that if you wait, stuff goes down. And I mean, I will say this, my Beast Wars collection, oh God, you could barely see it, but my Beast Wars collection, probably no joke, I'd have to say 80% of my Beast Wars collection was bought after the fact at conventions in bins. I mean, even the weird stuff, like I got Primal Prime from like a bin, and I probably got it for like $40, which if I would have bought it brand new from Zellers, not Zellers, Giant Tiger back in the day, I don't know if they have that in the States, but it's a brand here. I would have paid like $69.99 plus, Montreal, Quebec taxes. So add another 14% on that. It would have been almost like $80. But then I buy it for $40, at a BotCon one time, and then I'm good. So it's always like that. It's always like that. And especially when I go to, Japan, every time I go to Japan, I'm heavily reminded how cheap everything is because they don't have the space for it, you know? Uh, but I mean, it's just something, Rudy Mac, like that's why I like talking about Transformer finance segments, because money muscle memory, MMM, which is a real thing, money muscle memory, is something that constantly has to be hammered in people's heads. They constantly, because I do the charity auction at TFcon Toronto, and people constantly forget how cheap old product gets once it leaves that first cycle, constantly. I remember one year we had the very first wave of Titans Return Deluxes. Like it was not Brainstorm. It was Hardhead, Chrome Dome, Highbrow. Brainstorm wasn't part of that assortment. And I think, gosh, I forget who the fourth was. Maybe it was Mindwipe, but there was like a fourth one. And I remember we had the first wave of it carded, and it was like brand new, brand new. And we were like, oh, let's put it in the charity auction. We'll see how it does. People were buying those deluxes for like $50 a piece because it was the new hotness. You can't even sell those deluxes today for $50 a piece. I see them at the charity auction, and people are probably buying them for $5 on the let's make a deal portion, which is a real thing, you know? Not cheap, economical. Thank you, Rudy Mac. What's up, Aaron? Um, Roman Shilling Proto, what do you think? When do you think we'll get a new Predaking combiner? Um, I mean, I think that probably the next combiner we're probably going to get, if we like, because it seems like, I feel like Devastator is a unique situation on the Studio Series side of things, because I don't know if they would want to do another mainline combiner like what we got with Bruticus, and then have a Studio Series accompany it on the side. Because Bruticus, it's our next combiner, and Devastator, because it's Devastator, 86 movie, they could get away with that. But I'm just reminded of when we had that Titan Predaking and how that didn't sell very well, and it has a very weak secondary market because it didn't sell very well. Because when something doesn't sell well, there's not many of them out there to buy. So I don't know if Hasbro and Takara do it again, how would they want to do it? Because Predaking historically is larger. Are they going to want to do all Voyagers? Or are they going to want to do Deluxes and make it smaller than what the Titan was? That's a tough one. And of course, we do have that fancy one from T-Spark, where, because that kind of exists in the ecosystem right now, there's no rush really to, go do that. But I don't think Predaking is next. I think Defensor, I mean, I could even see the Seacons getting another swing at bat in a lot of ways, you know? Uh, Good night, Aaron. Oh, Aaron, go to bed now? T-Formers 2002 definitely don't have that in the States. I'd love to go to a store called Giant Tiger. Okay, I didn't know that you guys didn't have it. All right. It's kind of like, trying to think of an American equivalency. It's kind of like uh, a CVS, but, bigger emphasis on food and less on, I guess, like prescription drugs. That's probably the best way to explain it. Because see, the toy section is the reason why the toy section is unique, because Giant Tiger is one of those that they'll get late wave stuff that like maybe a Walmart or at the time Zellers wouldn't get. So they had like late wave Beast Machines, and that's why like I always remember Primal Prime, which is that Optimal Optimus done in Optimus Prime colors, being at Giant Tiger of all places and being expensive. And then me going like, this is like Proto Man and just graduating high school. Where the hell is he going to get $69.99? You know, back in 1999. Like I don't have that kind of money. So then years later, go to a BotCon. Maybe it was Mega Toy Fans room, because he always did big BotCon parts parties. Mega Toy Fans room. We just had one loose, 40 bucks in a bin. Good stuff. It's what's sitting in my display right now. You know, always wait. So many deals. So many deals. Very rare does someone leave a TFCon empty-handed without some cool item that they got. There's always some cool thing you could get if you wait it out. What do you say it's like, Ninjatron? Kind of like Coiz? What's Coiz? Small grocery store. Well, I find the Giant Tiger definitely emphasis on groceries and frozen groceries specifically. There's a lot of processed grocery stuff there. They seem to really lean onto that. But yeah. What is he replying to, Rudy Mac? Was sitting in Toys R Us in Toronto for a long time. I don't know what the guy's talking about. Distribution. Well, I mean, you have to understand, Canada has a very unique distribution too. I mean, oh, Kohl's. Wasn't Kohl's a bookstore here in Canada? I don't know. I don't know. There's all these different versions of things. Now that Toys R Us is kind of dying a slow death, unfortunately, here in Canada. For people that don't know, who are Canadian, uh, it was just recently announced. This might even be breaking news, because I have a friend. So, because I was a mechanic for years, when I first started doing car mechanics, I worked at Canadian Tire. It's a chain, sells tires, no surprise. Has a car mechanic center, much like a Walmart does, but it also has a lot of other stuff. And Canadian Tire is going to be leaning very heavily into a toy section, a bigger, much more fleshed out toy section in the future, because Toys R Us Canada is starting to phase out here in Canada. So if you have a local Canadian Tire nearby as a Canadian, go check out their toy section. They might have some stuff there. I checked mine. They're getting there. They have this and that. There's a lot of Cyber World stuff, but check that out. So that's something that slowly they're starting to roll that out. And EB Games, which is GameStop, they're also going to be redoing a lot of their stores and stuff too, because of the public news that Toys R Us is suffering heavily and dying a slow death in Canada, which is a shame because that creates a power vacuum, and then that gives Walmart a monopoly. And if Walmart has a monopoly, Walmart is never going to do anything noble. They're going to take advantage of the fact that, oh, you want to buy Studio Series? You don't have much of a choice of anywhere. So if other stores step up and kind of fill that gap, we'll be safer that way. Kohl's is like a clothing store you see in a mall. Kroger's is like a supermarket. So then it's a fusion of the two. Because Giant Tiger has clothing, supermarket stuff. It has a eclectic toy section. Any DVDs that have died a slow death that are like in clearance, their DVD section is all like dead DVDs. If you want a box set of something for $5, they probably still have a copy of Revenge of the Fallen still in the saran wrap. I remember I bought something from them not too long. I bought the fourth Bionicle movie. It was like $5 Canadian, so I bought 2 copies of it because I was just like, oh, I'll open one up and I'll keep one sealed. And I still haven't. I don't know why I bought 2 of them, but Mayoral Fabrication with the $5 super chat. What's up, Mayoral? An order from Japan quoted me $150 shipping to USA. The same order, 60 to a friend in Mexico. These tariffs are making me stop collect for a while. That's what I was just talking about, Mayoral. Like what's happening right now is if you're trying to buy from Japan, it's kind of a problem right now. Again, Amazon Japan is just refusing to ship out completely. So you're in a situation where you might have to buy, you might even have to be in a situation where you have to buy from a third party. It's crazy to think about it. A lot of crazy stuff there. You found the Car Ranger DVDs from Shout Factory at Giant Tiger, Ninjatron? Yo, I'd buy that. How much did you pay for that? Oh, now I got to go check Giant Tiger. I'd buy that. You serious? Like Car Ranger, like what Turbo was? Yo, I'd get that. That's crazy. Well, it's something where when it comes to the Japan thing, unfortunately, we just have to wait it out. It's the tariff thing. Like, look, as a Canadian, I can't really buy anything on eBay right now or sell things on eBay right now. If I wanted to sell something on eBay, like I have to pay, like eBay's like you have to pay the tariffs up front for the person that you're shipping it to. So that way it's not the responsibility of the person buying. And I'm like, yay, great. Already shipping in Canada to the States is terrible. Now I have to pay the tariffs too. I guess I'm making no money off of anything I'm selling on eBay. So that's dead. So eBay store is closed completely if I do decide to sell anything on eBay. And then buying off of eBay is the same thing. No one's going to want to sell to a Canadian if they have to pay the tariffs up front. So it's a mess. It's an absolute mess right now. So we're just got to wait everything out as always. Or, if you're Canadian, just go to TFcon Chicago and spend a couple days there, and then at least you're duty free when you cross the border. So that's the only other way to do it. Or in my case, go to TFcon Chicago this month, and then go to Japan next month, and then buy some really good stuff. Oh, yeah. The amount of insanity. The one thing that I regret not doing when I was in Japan, I wanted to record tons of footage for you guys of just all the cool stuff that was there. But I felt bad because I don't like being that guy, like the streamers in Japan that are rude and stuff. So I just kind of like recorded one quiet video of just all the cool merch. Let me pull up the video for you guys. Let me see. Riveting content as always. One moment, my people. Got to get all the way to the Japanese videos. But it's something where this was the how do I get this? The Wild King display. Oh, great. Why did I hold the camera like that? Hold on. There. Just, oh my God. All of this stuff like 300 yen, 400 yen, just in bins. Get it out of here. Loose Transformers. Get it out of here. Get more loose Transformers. Armada, Micron. Just get it out of here. Just buy it. All cheap. Limited only by my suitcase. By my suitcase. So definitely something. I mean, I bought a few things, brought them to TFcon Toronto. Gonna do it again. Yeah, Ami shut down shipping to the United States. It's a lot of Japanese retailers right now are not going to ship to the United States until this is over. So they're just going to hold on to your stuff or not ship it at all. So it's kind of a situation. It's kind of a situation right now. Rudy Mac, get the Ray-Ban Meta glasses proto. You can record a bit. Respect. Yeah, I know. There, obviously, I could get something like that, but I just feel bad. You know, Japan. You have to understand the thing about Japan. I've been there a few times now. It's it's a very introvert society, for lack of better words, and I don't mean that insultingly. That's just how they are. It's much more keep to yourself, be quiet. You know, and I'm a very, for lack of better words, energetic individual, and you try to just be respectful. Like let's just say sorry's on the end of every sentence for me, no matter where I go. Because you just want to kind of just chill over there and be nice to everybody. And when you go into their stores, it's dead silent. You just hear the music going on the intercom. It's something where one down, one to go. It's something where you just kind of want to respect it. You just want to respect. You're a guest there. You just want to respect it. And they're giving me the joy of emptying their shelves of every Bomberman figure. Oh, did I empty? I literally would just I would go up to Pegs and just empty of all their vintage Bomberman toys. Oh my goodness. What? 50 yen each? Like, that's like 30 cents? Like, oh my goodness. Loved it. Loved it. Rudy Mac, I was wearing mine at TFCon Toronto. What were you wearing? Oh, you were wearing it at the show. See, TFCon, sometimes I always think about maybe recording footage of the dealer room. I always tell myself, oh, maybe I should do like a dealer room tour while it's still like, not with people in it, so I could do a nice tour. But I always get too busy. One day, maybe this year. Maybe this year when I do Chicago, I'll do like a tour on the Friday, and then when I get home on Monday or something, I'll upload it as like an extra bonus or something. You know. Well, actually, the funny thing is the music that is at Don Quixote, the stores that I would go to and stuff in Japan, you could actually download it online. Uh, a really good one is Hard Off Store Music. It's on YouTube. So it sounds like a Japanese RPG town song. Like they have like great music, or like a Poke Center theme. Like they have they actually have their own unique OSTs for these stores. Like it's like generic, but yeah, like you say, elevator music, but it's like generic music, and it's cool. It's cool. I remember when I was at Don Quixote, I'm like, man, like I want to get this music, and you can find it on YouTube. Obviously, there's people that have been like, nice, got to get that. But it's something that I just feel bad. Like when you go to Japan and it's the evenings, people get drunk and it's a little more wild and stuff. But during the day, people really button down and you have to be respectful. Same thing on the bullet trains or on the trains in general. Nobody's talking, no one's on their phones. It's very quiet. Like when you're there with your friends and imagine you're tourists and you look like someone like me looks like a tourist, like I'm just like everyone else is like, no one's holding the bar like this. I'm the only one that's holding the bar like this. So it's very clear I'm a tourist, you know? And I'm just kind of one of those guys that are just like, I have to talk because I have to say, hey, is this our stop? Are we getting off here? But I don't want to do that because no one's talking. So I just kind of go like, huh. But I try to be respectful. Guillaume, the greatest store music is Tomato Mart from Shenmue. Well, there you go. It's kind of like that. Also, it sounds a little bit like Mega Man Legends. If you Mega Man Legends, the town music kind of sounds like that a little bit too. But it's fun. It's fun. Like Japan's expensive when it comes to going there, but I always tell people at least try to go once, and you could at least pull it off because if you go once and you have a very business mind like I do, you could enjoy the whole trip and buy some stuff to maybe pay for at least 50% of your ticket, you know? If you're really like proactive like me. Oh, look at all these United, figures which are classics in Japan. Look at all these, Japanese, Evangelion, girly figures that are like $3-4 that sell for $60 on eBay, you know? So I was buying a lot of that stuff, a lot of promo items, of video game stuff, but I have like that kind of knowledge of that stuff. It's like, oh, look at all these like pre-order buttons from Super Mario RPG that are like 50 cents each at Mandarake. I could like buy a whole bunch of these and then put them on eBay and charge, $20 for them. And then I sold them all, you know? So like that's kind of how I do it. So if you're very proactive, you could kind of justify the trip a little bit. I mean, it's still going to cost you like another 1,000 in expenses and stuff, but it is a way to go about it. T-Formers 2002. Speaking of Japan, I finally got a hold of a reissue Dino cassette set that came with the random Rumble and yeah, those are awesome. Those are awesome. The fact that Hasbro did that is wild because I own the original set. Oh god, you could barely see it, but I own the original sets and I spent a lot of money on those. And when I mean a lot, I mean not 4 digits, but I spent a lot. 3 digits to get all four before like people really got crazy with it. And then like they just casually got reissued like that. And I was like, hey man, that's great. That shows that the molds are out there and available. And I'm totally cool for it because if it gives people an opportunity to get something rare, I'm totally fine with reissues. I know there's a lot of collectors in the Transformer community that hate reissues because it feels like it hurts the value of their figures. But that's only under the mentality if they're going to sell it, you know? Like I'm not selling my original Dino cassettes anytime soon, not in the next 20 years. So it's not going to make a difference to me, you know? But it's cool that if other people get, look, I have the original Minerva. I'm saying, hey, they should reissue Minerva, give people an opportunity to get that old one without the yellowing, you know? Roman says I could never go to Japan. I'd never be able to leave without buying Gundam. Well, that's the beautiful thing. Gundams are ridiculously cheap there. You know, when you go to Japan and you see what the MSRP is on Gundam model kits, and I'm not saying Akihabara, do not go to Akihabara to go shopping. You're going to get ripped off. They all know that it's a tourist trap now. But if you go outside of Akihabara, you're going to get Gundam prices at MSRP. You're going to be paying like 900 yen for 1x144 scale, which is like $7 USD. And you're going to realize just how much we overpay for Gundam sometimes. And not to mention when you go to thrift stores and they're even cheaper because then they have like closeout stuff. So, and there's a lot of closeout stuff. T-Formers 2002 just got to track down those 2 series gold bumblebees with the other set. Oh yeah, the one that was like for the movie ones. That's true. Those ones are probably tougher. Those ones are probably definitely a lot tougher to get because I think those are San Diego exclusives, if I remember if I remember correctly. Yeah. Spitting under my own words here, but man, it was fun. It was fun last time I was there. The weather wasn't super hot, that's another thing too. When you go to Japan, if it's summer, you are going to get eaten alive. I always tell people like, October, November, December, because at least when you go to your hotel, you're not going to be dying because there's no air conditioning. I always say it's easier to escape the cold than to escape the heat. So, Patrick Brown, I want a perfect double O Exia. Well, I would have to see an Exia perfect grade box, and then usually they have the yen MSRP sometimes near where the UPC code is, and then you would see how much it would actually cost you if you bought it there. The only problem with buying a perfect grade is fitting it in your suitcase afterwards. A lot of my Gundam guys that I traveled with, uh, they would literally abandon the box. They would get rid of the box and they just put the runners just to save a little bit of space. But it's never easy. It's never easy. I, you know, right now I'm still trying to convince people just to come to TFCon, let alone fly to Japan. I would first try to do a TFCon first. Start with that. That way, especially for a lot of Americans, that way you don't have to worry about a passport, although I do suggest you get one. But that way you don't have to worry about a passport right away. But I would suggest doing TFCon first. TFCon's where it's at. Especially like if you can't do Chicago, that gives you a good 5 to 5.5 months to save up for LA. And man, you got to do LA. If there is one TFCon you do a year, it's TFCon LA. And like, look, if you start saving now, put $50 aside for the next 5 months, you know, put $50 aside. That's going to cover like you splitting a hotel room, or depending on what state, that could be your flight, you know, like that's something that I would heavily like just put the money aside. It's so doable. But too many times people go like, "Oh, I can't afford TFCon. I can't afford TFCon. Check out this Titan class I pre-ordered." you know? Well, you could afford TFCon. Uh what did Guillaume say here? Plus, as a Canadian, for cold, we're built like tanks, so I imagine I would never felt cold there. Well, I mean, the thing is that they put on heating in their places. Like they have heating in their hotels, but those same hotels that I've gone to don't put on air conditioning. So that's kind of the catch 20. And again, it's something where if it's really cold, you could go, all the hotels have their public bathhouses. They have baths. You could get hot water. You could get that environment. They have hot drinks that are 100% free, whether it be hot cocoa or tea. There's a lot of ways to get warm in Japan. Now, the flip side of it, when it's really hot, unless you're taking a cold shower, there's no cold drinks that are free. It's only hot drinks that are free. So it's a different story, unfortunately. Is my audio cutting? Really? Yeah, sometimes if you're listening to the podcast on a on your phone, sometimes the audio might sound weird. It happens. But it's something where, like to me, I would suggest look into TFCon first. It's the much more affordable one, and if you do the LA show, you're going to be so happy. You're going to be so happy if you go to the LA show because there's just so much stuff going on there. So much good stuff. And the LA show has Japanese sellers because they have that proximity of the West Coast. So you also get a little bit of that fix too. The last LA show had two really good Japanese sellers there. They even had that bump of chicken convoy that someone bought. I think they were asking $200, and I was like, "Ooh, $200! I ain't paying that." But someone sure did because someone bought it by the end of that weekend. So good for them. It is what it is. But again, save for LA. Um, for the new well, so obviously the next one after LA is going to be Toronto again because it's Chicago in October, March is going to be LA, and then July 2026 is going to be Toronto. To be able to predict what's going to be in October of 2026, that's asking way too much of the future, you know? So, we will see. But there's already for Chicago, there's already a really good lineup of people. I mean, the big ones I think are still to be announced. I still think there's like two or three that still have to be announced. I don't know what's public really. I tend to forget, so I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. But a lot of good guests. A lot of good guests. T Formers 2002. Our group sale tables for Chicago is sharing a table with those Japan guys. Oh yeah. Oh no, you're saying our group sale table for yeah. You're gonna have Japanese guys at your table at Chicago. I know Cringe told me that. So that sounds pretty cool. You're gonna have a lot of good stuff there. A lot of good stuff. Man, again, people need to they need to put aside $50. Like when I worked at Burger King, I know I sound like a broken record, but when I worked at Burger King, I used to put aside $100 a month to be able to do every BotCon because I wanted to make sure I wouldn't miss it. I was going to every like between 2021 up until its end. I never missed a single one. And all of those BotCons, it was always like, I need to figure out what the hotel is going to be. Need to figure out what the flight's going to be. I need to figure out paying for the admission. You know, I had all these extra factors I had to worry about. And Mr. Tankies comes in and gifts a whole bunch of super chats. Mick Tankies, excuse me. And who got him? Let's see. Neo Scream, Talib, Daigo, Christopher Ransom, Brian Brink, McCann Graffy, Jacob, Padre, co-hoster. Oh my God, there's so many of them. Mocha, Sci-Fi Tsunami, Valencia. It's a lot of names of people that aren't talking. So now you guys get Black Flash as opposed to White Flash. Blitzwing Prime, FC Mania. Is that soccer related? Marcus, A. Greg Lane. It's all happening so quickly. I'm missing people. Henry. The chat is screwed for a bit. Yeah, Archer Monster. What's up, Aaron? It happens. People gift subs. Spread the love to the world. Mick Tankies, thank you for the gifted subs to everybody. That's very cool of you. We all try to share here in the community. Aaron's still a gray name. Aaron gets special treatment. Aaron gets special treatment. I think Ninjatron's still a gray name too. Ninjatron always seems to avoid it for some reason. Dylan, are you still a gray name? Or young? Mr. McTankies. I wonder what is the McTankies. What is the origin of your? Oh yeah, Victor is also not one. McTankies, what is the origin of your name? I'm kind of curious. Everyone always has like an origin to their screen name. There's always something. And Ninjatron doesn't have it either. You guys are brand accounts. I guess so. Either way. I got to turn off the notification. We're going to getting Peter Cullen over and over. One more time. Whoa. There we go. But yeah. TFcon coming up. Again, me and Aaron will be there. Go swing by Aaron Archer's table, pick up some art, you know. But if you haven't, again, pick it up from his website now because this is all going to Chicago. And if it's all going to Chicago, it's probably not going to come back from Chicago because it's going to get sold. So pick it up while you can. I heavily suggest that Sideways. I don't know how that has not been sold yet. That one is looking sweet as hell. So definitely pick those up. archermonster.com/shop. And again, you get a nice, beautiful black and white hand sketch on a 2x3 card. Any character of your choice with purchase before TFcon. So go make your purchases before you miss your chance. Good stuff. I got a bunch of myself all the way over there near the Hot Rod Shrine. Yeah, YouTube randomly picks accounts. They always do. That's why when you gift the subs, they just do it like that. And for some reason, Ninjatron has avoided it every single time. You like the thrust one, Ninjatron? Oop. Yeah, the thrust one's nice. The thrust one's nice because that's thrust when he's like pointing at Megatron just before he died. Spoiler on a 20-year-old show. Before he got killed. So it's a nice shot just before he got killed. Old squid head. Patrick Brown thinking about grabbing one. If I could just make one more eBay sale. Oh, well, hope you can make some eBay sales. And you could pick up something good. Which one are you? Well, maybe don't say it, Patrick, because someone might scoop you up. But there's a lot of really good ones. And you get that free sketch. So you could pick something up and then you could ask for a little extra something on the side too. Doesn't have to be Transformers either. You could ask for like, you want Wolverine, you want Batman. Hey man, Aaron designed the very first Huntress figure from Batman. He was a co-developer on the very first Harley Quinn figure from Batman. So you could get some cool, like, non-Transformer historical pieces too. Aaron helped develop the very first Pokemon Jesse and James Pokemon 2-pack figure. So if you like Pokemon, Jesse and James, Aaron was behind that madness. Welcome Victor Wong to the Minicon recruits. We got another one with us too. Welcome, Victor. Welcome to the madness. But yeah, something where I heavily suggest people pick that stuff up. It's good. It's good stuff. You see them in person, I think people appreciate them more because they realize how big they are and how like nicely they are. Very nice. Victor is green now, and you have the Jazz logo, which as time progresses, you get to choose different logos. Rudimax got the Hot Rod Rodimus. The best. The best. Better than all the rest. Red Thrust is cool too. I got that one. That one was a USA edition Japan exclusive and showed up in Australia and Israel of all places. Back in the day. That was how you were able to get one. If you knew someone who was selling out of Israel or Australia, or if you got the USA edition, which was a Japanese exclusive, even though it didn't come out in USA. What a weird one. But it was gorgeous. Back in the day, that was like your thrust figure. That was your classics thrust figure. Just turn the camera. There he is up there. Look at him. We'll just leave it on the Armada display for a moment. Let you guys enjoy that instead of looking at me. And one of my Micro Man figures on the microphone. Micro Man on the microphone. We have a complete run of Armada with most of the Micron variants. A complete run of alternators with some of the Binaltech variants. A complete run of Kissplay because I'm a pervert. A whole bunch of Unicron Trilogy merchandise stuff, whether it be PVCs or stuff. You got some built to rule, and then you can't see over there because this glass case is going to cover it. But there's a whole bunch of other merch and stuff like SEF PVCs and stuff. And then you got Energon Complete Run with some, again, the variations of Superlink, Complete Run of Universe 2.0, because Universe 2.0 was awesome. Then you get Cybertron, Robot Masters mixed with Beast Wars Telemocha Collection and Beast Wars 10th Anniversary. All the crazy stuff in the background you guys don't really get to see very often. Not very often. There's Commander Keen on my desk and Kami from Dragon Ball. And there's Kinnikuman hanging upside down because he has magnets on his feet too from the Japanese Kinnikuman collection. Well, it's Kinnikuman Nisei in this case, Kid Muscle. There's all the good stuff that you get to see. There's the other stuff too. All the good stuff. And now I screwed up the camera. Where are we at here? Hard to get now. Well, I mean, yeah, that's a tougher one. That was a tougher item to begin with. The thrust. Quarkling, can anyone tell what is supposed to be in Wave 2 of Power of the Primes? Where to look it up? Wave 2, if you're talking like if you want to see the case assortment, look up Entertainment Earth or Entertainment Earth. I think you're saying Age of the Primes or Power of the Primes. Well, Age of the Primes, Wave 2, Entertainment Earth. He'll have the case breakdown for you if you're looking. And then you'll know how many are in a case, who's in that case assortment, and then just type the price point, Deluxe, Voyager, whatever. They're usually good for that. I wouldn't say Power of the Primes, because then if your town is still stuck in Power of the Primes, well, welcome to 2017. It's T-Formers 2002. I have the Power Links Dirge Thrust Deco. Yeah, I got them all. I love them. They're great. They're great. And his mini con's named Inferno because, of course. No, there's very few Commander Keen merch, Ninjatron. That's why I keep it on my desk. No joke. If you want to know every piece of Commander Keen merchandise, it's this figure and a pin that was at Penny Arcade. I love Commander Keen. I was a DOS kid back in the day, so that's it. 2 pieces of Commander Keen merchandise that exists. That's it, officially. And a pin. From PAX, I think it was PAX East. Patrick Brown, those shelves really actually are very deep. What dimensions are they? Well, I mean, use this as an example here, right? So they're about, I would want to say, 2.5 feet deep, but they're custom made. That way they could hold a ton. Word of advice that my father gave me years ago, never waste a wall, because he collected die-cast cars, and he would have a whole wall for die-cast cars, but the shelves were like this deep for each car. What a waste of wall space. In retrospective, he should have done what I did. But the problem is die-cast cars are all die-cast, they're heavier, so you don't want to put too much on glass or plexi because it's going to bend it or break it. So it's a little more scary sometimes. But yeah, custom made sliding doors that you could buy at any Home Depot. And like I always tell people, plexi. You don't need glass. Glass is expensive. It's plexi. Looks like glass, doesn't cost as much as glass, keeps the dust off like glass. It's good. Does the job, and it looks sexy. And I don't have to dust anything, which is nice too. I mean, these guys have been in here forever. Victor Wong with the $2.79 super chat. Jazz is my number one TF. Do you Chicago pizza for hotel delivery? I know that the very first time we did TFcon Chicago in 2014, 15, whatever year that was, I think it was 15. We got the deep dish Chicago pizza that everyone was talking about. I mean, it was okay. I'm not saying it was crap. I don't want to say that, but it was a good pizza. To me, it felt like if you took like 5 slices of pepperoni pizza and just put them on top of each other like a lasagna and you just ate it like that. That's what it kind of felt like. It was still good. It's pizza. Pizza's never bad. I've never had a bad pizza. So, but I know someone ordered it and we had some. I mean, if someone's having a pizza party, let me know. I'm always down. Pizza's good. Jazz is your number one favorite, just like Jaws D. Jaws D's favorite Transformer is Jazz. And mine is Wheelie. No, I'm just talking. Clark Clint, my bad age of the primes. Thanks, Proto. Thank you, Proto. No, I figured pretty much because when you're like still stuck in wave one of Power of the Primes, I'm like, man, you must have the worst, either the worst Walmart ever or the best Walmart ever, because that means the stock goes really far back. That was me back in the day with Zellers. Zellers, you could always you could find like 5-year-old stock there. I bought my Earthbound from Zellers like 9 years after it came out. Victor Wong, can't wait. Will be my first time in Chicago. Hey man, they are fun as hell. They are fun as hell. I say this every single time. The great thing about a Transformer convention, as opposed to any other convention you'll go to, you could go to San Diego Comic-Con, 100,000 people. Not everyone likes the same thing you do. It's not easy to talk to people. People are all, it's a cluster F over there, let me tell you. But you go to a TFCon, the one thing you're guaranteed is every person in that room has the same hobby you do. Every person in that room likes the same thing you do. You're all Transformer fans. It is so easy to start a conversation with a complete stranger. So many people that we have in this chat today that are TFCon regulars, they made lifelong friends at TFCon. You know, you meet those people at TFCon, you make lifelong friends that you then hang out at those shows, and then you could room with them and save money on hotel rooms and all kinds of stuff. Like, that's the way to go about it, my friend. Victor Wong, my very first TF toy was my dad bringing home Jazz from Hong Kong. Oh, really? So you got like a G1 Jazz from Hong Kong. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. China, well, Hong Kong wasn't part of China back then in the 80s, but China for the longest time had a very interesting distribution when it came to Transformer product, because it didn't have a proper distributor in China. So a lot of it came much later in the mid to late 80s. And the only reason why I know that, because my buddy Hydra, he did a huge deep dive into the history of Chinese comic books in Japan, of Transformers and bootlegs and everything like that. And it was quite interesting. It's quite interesting. I don't know if it's still up. He posted that on Allspark many years ago, but then Allspark changed their website, so it's not the same anymore. Thank you, Ninja. Ninja Trot. I met a lot of friends at TFCon, and I also met Proto Man. No biggie. Eh. Clark Clint. What is Entertainment Earth? Is it a good place to buy figures? So Entertainment Earth is it. I wouldn't call it a good place to buy figures unless you're buying in bulk. And a lot of times it doesn't work out in the long run if you're not like a store, because they sell by case assortments. Once in a while, they'll sell individual figures, but that's only if they break case assortments and they have sales. So it's like a online retailer. I use Entertainment Earth to get information. I don't buy from them ever, but if I need to know, oh, how many Solus Primes versus Devastator pieces versus whatever is in this case of deluxes, they'll have that information, because when they sell the cases, they tell you in the description of their sales for their cases of Transformers what comes in those cases. So it gives you a good idea. Oh, case A of this Hot Wheels comes with these cars. So they're really good for that. Like, they're a good information source for me. And if you're listening to this podcast, you're listening to me because you want information. And that's, one of those good places that I source it from. So, but they're good for sales. When they break up case assortments and then they have to sell some of the leftovers and then they do crazy sales, some of their stuff is pretty cheap. I know that I think I bought the Super 7 stuff through them, like really cheap. I think it was them. Was it them or Big Bad Toy Store? No, I think it was them. I know I bought them like really cheap, like $10 to $15 each, as opposed to 50. So, yeah. Uh, James says my first Transformer toy was G1 Ironhide. The day it hit the shelf, man. 1984 Diaclone seat faced Ironhide is your first. Well, you know what? I think that would be a cool figure because Ironhide, think about it, he's one of those deluxe cars, but he also comes with like a little play set when you think about it. So that's pretty cool. His little battle sled. I would have appreciated that as a kid. I would have been like, that's cool. Has that little compass accessory on it that's like his weapon. I would have loved that. I mean, I've showed you guys this before, but I'll show it again. You know, here's every Transformer I owned as a kid from 1986 till 1994. There it is. Every Transformer I owned as a kid. A handful of Micromasters, a G1 Blaster. The only thing that's missing from this, because it got lost, was a Optimus Prime trailer. Just the trailer. The legs survived because I bought the Optimus Prime trailer from a thrift store as a kid back in like 1989, and in the trailer had a lone Optimus Prime leg. I don't know what happened to the Optimus Prime trailer. Still to this day, I don't know what happened to it. In the same way, I don't know what happened to the blaster on top of my Micromaster combiners. You know, I had the crazy glue. Where is he? Where's Blackjack? I had the crazy glue Blackjack because he lost his chest and it got busted. All little adventures. All little, look at the loose little adventures in sandboxes and going to friends' houses and everything. I got this box from my grandfather many, many, many years ago. Good old brake shoes. Now everything's brake discs. These were brake shoes. Good stuff. Big Bot Bodega, $5 super chat. Oh, I almost missed it. Let me go grab it. You think people would buy $10 legacy figures if I bought them funds for my drinks? Well, I mean, let's put it this way. It's something where, what are those legacy figures? Are you selling $10 legacy figures that are deluxe class, Voyager class, Titan class? I mean, it's something where, what are those characters? What is the price point? People sell all the time. I mean, we saw like, people who would sell in the lobby. Like, gosh, what was the last show that they had to shut it down? Oh my God, what show was it? Help me out, cringe. T-formers. Was it Baltimore? There was one where like the whole like bar was just people selling Transformers, like making it like their own like dealer room, and then they had to shut it down. I remember I bought a web diver before they shut it down, though. But yeah, Victor Wong, fourth party. I don't know if fourth party is considered knockoff. I just say knockoff bootleg. Did a fourth party start before third party in China? Well, there's been bootleg Transformers since the 80s. I mean, you could go as far back as 1983, and there was already carded GoBot bootlegs. And I know that for a fact because I have some of those. Like, I bought them brand new. All the toys I had as a kid. And this might be a reason why I now have a crazy collection because I'm just compensating. Who knows? But as a kid, I had very little Transformer toys, and any GoBots I had were all bootlegs. They were all bootlegs. My Dive was a bootleg. What was the other one I had? My Spacey was a bootleg. Loco was a bootleg. I had a whole bunch of bootleg stuff. And I remember because I still have the card backs. And those were like dated 1983, 1984. And then, of course, G1 had plenty of bootlegs. Kidding me? My goodness. If, anything that's super hot for that time is going to have stuff that's going to take that tooling and make bootlegs of it. Ninja Turtles had bootlegs back in the day. Love those bootlegs. T-Formers 2002, hard to keep track when you go to so many consecutive shows. That's exactly what I'm saying, brother. That's why I don't remember. That's why I don't remember either. Now you're now suffering from the same problem I have, where it's like sometimes you just like go, what? Like the only ones I remember are the LA shows because those are like unique spaces. Like the LA shows, that has the tiki bar on the outside. That's super awesome. Like that's easier to remember. But all the other ones, the Chicagos, the Baltimores, the Washingtons, they all kind of blur together. Once again, why you should go to the LA show. Um, it definitely wasn't Florida because Florida too had its own unique, weird location. Victor Wong, Armada, Energon, Cybertron toys were fun, simple, blocky, innovative, fun. Well, again, they were toyetic and they did the job and they sold very well. The sales started to trickle down by the time of Cybertron, but then by the time we got into 2007, we were all running crazy afterwards because of the movies. Oh, TMNT had plenty of bootlegs, brother. Oh, I could show you carded TMNT bootlegs. I have plenty of Ninja Turtle bootleg stuff. Plenty of that. My goodness. Should I go grab some? No, people don't want to see TMNT bootlegs. I have weird TMNT bootleg stuff. I bought some even as a kid. The dollar store used to have them. But I collect, whenever I find them, I buy them because I love TMNT bootlegs. Like they'll take the body of a character and then put like the head of another character on it. Like it was wacky, some of them. And they would have weird weapons too that were like unique to the bootlegs, funny card backs, all kinds of great stuff. Turtley Gang. I think that was one of them. I know a lot of them had weird names. There's like Super Turtles. No, there was like the Japanese ones too, or Super Turtles, but I have that too. I should show you a picture of my TMNT collection one time. I have a very extensive TMNT collection. Timmy K. Poindexter, Proto, what's for dinner? And why no Butters? He's right there. Do you want me to grab him? Let's see if I can grab Butters. Gotcha. Gotcha, boy. Gotcha, boy. Ugh. He's always sleeping nearby. Butters, man. They want to see you with your green eyes and your white fur and your judging. Yeah, I know Shockwave is nice art. Butters. Well, you want to rest, Butters? Here. Relax here. Just don't put your tail in my face. Okay. Uh as for what am I eating? Um I had a like an omelet sandwich thing. I took like 3 omelets with egg whites and I put some what do you call it? Some kale in there and mixed it with some black pepper. I just wanted to have an omelet. Um I have a crazy TMNT collection, but I only collect vintage. Once in a while I buy new stuff, but I mean even on my tower here I have Super Shredder and Slash, which were two childhood toys that were like grails to me when I was a kid. But today it's a different story. Let me see. Do I have a picture of the TMNT collection? Oh, I have a little bit. It's kind of a dated photo. So also glass case. What's cool here, you can hardly see it. That's a Usagi signed by Stan Sakai with a comic. And then I have a whole bunch of boxed Japanese turtles, a whole bunch of them. Now, here's a fun fact that people don't realize and they don't talk about it in the community online. So, the best TMNT sewer playset ever came out of Japan. And not a lot of people have seen it. And I have one and it's really, really cool. Really, really cool. They tried to make it look super show accurate. So you have the play set that looks like the actual TMNT sewer. And then you had all this paper craft stuff that made like the couch and the TV and everything. It's so cool. So I got that one. Very, very cool. I met Stan Sakai. Actually, I think I met him with Alex Milne when he did a fan expo in Toronto. I think that's when I got it. Usagi Yojimbo. This cat, man. Butters. I'm so old. I'm happy with 2, if not 3, plain streamed corn on the cob. No plain. Now, Butter's a good cat. He's named after the South Park character because he's a madman. Butters, what are you doing? Yeah. What are you doing, Butters? I think he wants food. That's why, and he knows it's almost time to call it quits for today. Do you want to see the TMNT bootlegs? You know what I'll do? You know what I'll do, guys? Next week I'll bust out like some really cool stuff. I will because when TFCon Chicago comes up, obviously I'm not going to be doing a live stream. So what I'll do is I'll do like an early live stream during the week because I think I'm flying out Thursday. So like I'll do like a Wednesday live stream or something, and I'll bust out like the TMNT bootleg stuff. I have a lot of cool stuff. I have like I feel like I'm hoarding a little bit because like I have like 5 mint-in-box copies of like Saint Turtle from the Japanese line. I have like a bunch of weird stuff because it was so cheap when I went to Japan. It was so cheap. They were because they don't care about turtles, so they were just giving it away. Oh, one I'll definitely I'll bust it all out because I have a lot of it, and it's a lot of it is carded and stuff. It's wacky stuff, wacky stuff. I love it, love that stuff. Because look, I was born in 1983, so I got the tail end of Transformers, the bulk of all of the Ninja Turtle hype during its run, the beginning of Power Rangers and the mutant era, and like everything afterwards. So like those were good times. Yeah, I'm gonna like every time I have a weekend where it's gonna be a convention instead, like it, with the exception of TFCon Toronto. TFCon Toronto, I do a live stream on the Sunday, but whenever it's like the USA shows or if I'm going to Japan or something, I always do a live stream early in the week just to make up for it. Just that you guys still get a secret live stream. Always like to do that. Uh, yeah, Big Bot, you know what's up. It was good times. Good times. You know, early days of the internet. Nintendo was ruling the world. Power Rangers was ruling the world at one point. Ninja Turtles was ruling the world at one point. Actually, I'll show you one more interesting thing. This is a weird item. It wasn't shipped to me. It's just the person who I bought it from put it in this. So I have to meet Jaws D later this week to fix his car. Whole other story. I don't know if Jaws D's in the chat. Um, so I have to bring him something that he forgot at my house that he bought. Um, it's an animation cell from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So there's Abdul and Darby from JoJo. From I think this was the OVA series from 1995, 97. So it's an original animation cell. He forgot it at my house. Oh, excuse me, just forgot an animation cell. So I have to bring it to him. Figured you guys would dig that little piece of history there. Are you picking up the TMNT ingot for 40? No, see, TMNT, like the only stuff I buy now is stuff that's related to like Slash or Super Shredder. I'll pick that up once in a while. The odd Raphael figure. And then like it's gotta be like high-end movie stuff or something. Like it's like, I'm very picky with that because a lot of it I just don't need. I don't need. I collect vintage. I rather buy like 5 old school turtle figures I don't have than like one new one, you know? So I just kind of like those. It's more my childhood. And trust me, if you're collecting vintage turtle, it'll keep you busy. There's hundreds of figures, hundreds and hundreds, and then collecting all the accessories and all the variants, soft head, hard head, this color, that color. So yeah, Batman from Kenner. You're right, Guillaume. Kenner was also doing very well. I would say like Kenner with Batman toys between like I'd want to say like 1991 to about 1994, they were probably some of the best-selling toys easily. Especially during like that Batman Returns era cuz like the Toy Biz 89 Batman toys, there wasn't a lot of them and they didn't sell very well. But man, like by the time you get to the Dark Knight collection and the Batman Returns stuff, good stuff. Good stuff. Here, big bot, just because it's on my shelf, on my, there he is. So This will be the last thing we talk about before we call it quits night. When I was a kid, grade 1, grade 1 for me was 1989. 1989 or 1990. It was probably 1990. It was 1990. Some kid, I don't want to say his name. He was like, he got this, and I was like, oh my god, can I see that? He's like, no, you can't touch my super shredder, and I thought it was just the coolest thing ever. Because when you remember what the original shredder was with the blue pieces and with the no shirt and everything, and I was like, this thing is so cool and super dusty. So this is my extra one, and I always keep it on my desk. I have Hot Rod, I have Super Shredder, I have Slash, I have, oddly enough, keep it on topic, a nice Kenner Batman. This was the generic one there that came with the Battle Whip. I have a Bret Hart from Hasbro from 1992. I have a bunch of Proto Man figures. I have some Dragon Ball stuff. I put a little bit of everything. My tower is the only thing that's not Transformers in this entire room because I like to stare at it. And it's always inspirational to me. That's why Commander Keen's on there. Wish I could show you guys proper, but there's Prima. A little bit of everything. Inspiration. There's a little Daniel. Hot Rod with the Matrix, Bomberman, Proto Man, Prima, because you got to represent your gods. There's Kami, because you got to represent your gods. You got Valiant. Good stuff. When you're working and you're typing, you want to have inspiration. And then above it all, some beautiful Mark Watts art. Also going to be at Chicago. Go to Chicago, get that piece. And I'm screwing up the camera now. Metalhead was really cool. So Donnie, my very first TMNT toy was we were at a friend's country house, and we rented the TMNT VHSs. It was the first time I saw anything Ninja Turtles. It was the VHSs, and we saw the very first episodes. And then coincidentally, we went to like a drugstore that was like in town near this country house, and it had the TMNT toys, the Softhead first wave of 1988, 87, 88. And I got Michelangelo, not because I liked Michelangelo, because I just wanted to see how the nunchucks would work as a toy. That's like literally my logic. And my sister bought Donatello. And those were our first TMNT toys. And we still have them to this very day. We still have them. And Metalhead was cool too. Didn't get him until much later. Much, much later. The first 3 comic books I ever owned. Ninja Turtles Adventures, the one that had Leatherhead in it. I forget the number. I think it was issue 4 or issue 5. Infinity Gauntlet number 3 and Fantastic Four Enter the Wrecker. Good stuff. Wasn't Kevin Nash Super Shredder in the movie? Yes, he was. And he was on the set with his wife. That was his first acting gig as the Super Shredder. When you go to conventions, people are signing he's signing Funko Pops of Super Shredder. That's like his most common thing that he signs of Funko Pops is Super Shredder. But yeah, that's it more or less, guys. I think we're done for tonight. We've passed the 2-hour mark. We got an extra 17 minutes of content. Good stuff. Good stuff. Always happy to talk about other stuff too. Transformers, Ninja Turtles. I'll bring some of those bootlegs on. Hold on, let me look at the calendar here. So, we still got a few weeks until Chicago. Okay, we still got a few weeks. It'll give me time to dig them up because I have them in like boxes. Because any of the carded stuff that are like vintage, I try to like protect them. But definitely, I'll dig them up. Those things are so cool. They're so wacky. But thank you again for all the love and support, people. Thank you for the super chats, Rudy Mack, Amaro Fabrication. Thank you all. I hope I'm not missing anybody. I know Rudy Mack and Amaro Fabrication gave super chats. I think there were some others too. Just want to make sure. Big Bot Bodega gave me a super chat. Victor gave me a super chat. Just want to make sure I don't miss any of the other super chats. Mr. Mick Tanky, excuse me. Thank you for all the YouTube memberships that everybody got. But thanks for all the love and support, people. Again, if you want to support the podcast and continue the conversations, come join the Discord, which is part of our Patreon. If you join our Patreon, it gives you access to our Discord. And in our Discord, we have deals, we have sales, we have all kinds of cool stuff. It gets your name in the end credit scroll at the end of every segment. We have all kinds of cool stuff in the Discord. Our Discord is awesome. And I try to make it not a problematic place. I try to get rid of crazy people all the time. I had a public Discord. It went to crap very quickly. And then I noticed that when people have to pay to be in a Discord, they tend to behave a little better. So definitely come join our Discord. A lot of cool benefits there and everything. A lot of cool stuff. I'm still trying to. The latest episode of Transformers Wild King is now currently locked behind a VPN, and you have to have a Japanese address. So I'm trying to secure an episode of Wild King so I can make it a Patreon exclusive so people could watch it on there. Because right now, Westerners can't watch episode 10 of Wild King, which is crazy. So I'm going to try to work something out for you guys there. Anyways, I'm out of here. Take care of yourself, your friends, your family, and your loved ones. It's a beautiful place out there. There's so much cool stuff to do and people to hang out with and everything. There's no reason to be negative. There's no reason to hate all the stuff, the politics stuff, all the crazy stuff that's going on. Ignore all of that. Enjoy the great things in life, like I always say you should. And we have a beautiful convention with a lot of beautiful people that are going to be there. So we'll all just hang out and enjoy ourselves. I'm going to go play some Sonic Racing Crossworlds because I've been playing that. I got to build up my character with that so I can get my vehicle ready for when Proto Man debuts in November. So I'm out of here, guys. Take care of yourselves. As always, roll out.